President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, while delivering the 14th convocation lecture of the National Open University of Nigeria in Abuja, says African countries can get a good deal out of the current tariff war between the United States of America and other nations across the globe, if only they are tactical and strategic. He explains that Africa's trade with US is minimal, hence engaging in a trade war with the country may be unwise. Additional warns that a potential trade war with the US could send shockwaves through African economies, weaken local currencies, increase inflation, and raise debt servicing costs.
The world is reeling from the effects of US tariffs. The increase in tariffs by the United States, I want to be very clear, is understandable from a domestic policy perspective, as it drives to correct long-term trade imbalances, with the US experiencing today the largest trade deficit in the world, estimated at over $1 trillion. The US tariffs have sparked global uncertainty and market volatility. Already there are tariff retaliations from leading countries, including China, Canada, and the European Union. The global financial markets have been rattled as stock prices fell across the world, from London to Tokyo, to New York, to Beijing, and to others. I'm especially concerned about what this means for African countries, as 47 out of the 54 countries in Africa have been placed under higher US tariffs.
He is calling for a recalibrated trade and investment partnership with the US, stressing Africa's vast potential in infrastructure, agriculture, and minerals.
The total amount of trade by Africa with the US is only $34 billion. It's very minuscule. If you look at the amount of trade surplus that Africa has with the United States, it's only $7.2 billion. So $7.2 billion out of over $1.2 trillion is absolutely nothing. Africa doesn't have anything really with regard to that. The issue, in my view, is that Africa should not get into a war tariff with the United States. What is needed is more trade with the US. The current dynamics calls for a recalibration of trade and investment.
Struggle to position Africa appropriately, prominently, and justly within beneficial, people-oriented global development, notwithstanding the obnoxious and distressing, if not depressing, geopolitical dynamics afflicting the world today.
The AfDB president urged African nations to tariff-proof their economies by focusing on domestic consumption, value addition, and the effective implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The theme of the lecture was advancing Africa's positioning with global development and geopolitical dynamics. Tunji Olanikwekun, Arise News.